Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. And this is episode two of part of my English project of InnerGlow Wellness project, brand. And I last time I talked about how we could be killing our sleep and all that, and mo- and a lot of other stuff. So this podcast will cover especially about sleep, how important it is, and all that, because especially for my generation, that's one of the things that we have more trouble with. So finding when to sleep, good strategies to do to improve our sleep, because especially with our phones, it's more difficult to find to sleep because you just are tempting of wanting to scroll. So this podcast will cover how important is sleep and how we can kind of arrange solutions for us to sleep better, have a better quality, fall asleep quicker as well. If we want to go to bed at 9, don't decide to scroll or try to do something and afterwards just go to bed at 11, go to bed at 9. Just find some solutions to make some bad habits you have before going to bed go. So try to replace them with something else. One thing that is good with doing that, and I also started doing that. It's two things. It's stretches or meditation. I mostly do stretches because it helps me for, especially late at night. It helps me to, if I played hockey, helps me recover my hips, especially because as a goalie you need to have good hips for hockey. So I do either stretches or meditation. These are two good things, especially meditation, because it clears the mind and all that. Yoga is also really good, and yoga can go as well with stretching, because there's yoga stretch as well. There's two categories really of yoga, or more than two categories. One of them is yoga stretch, and the other one is yoga. You just it clears the mind, and so you go to bed with a happy mind and all that. So it's really good. I especially started doing that since I started kind of having some repetitive kind of nightmares, I would say. So I decided to start doing stuff to clear my mind. And also, if you can't with the clear your mind with yoga, meditation, or stretches, one thing that is also good is don't think about anything that is kind of bad. Like, if you had a bad day, don't think about your day. Don't think about your day. Think about something that makes you happy. So for me, it's hockey. So what and that was one of the advices of one of my friends that I talked to about the nightmares I've had, and he told me, go to bed and don't think about the nightmares. Think about something that makes you happy, like hockey. So that's what I did, and that's what I've been doing for a couple of weeks, 1 week now, and I didn't had the nightmares lately, but it's still something. You all need to work on something about our sleep, and especially that's one thing I'm starting to have troubles with is my phone as well. So one thing I would recommend is that especially if you have a problem like, oh, I'm always on my phone before going to bed, I don't want to kill my sleep anymore, take your phone with the charger. If you charge your phone during the night while you're sleeping, put it away from you. Charge it away from you. And even if you put it away from you in the same room and you still kind of get up and go and get it, put it in another room. Put it in another room. So, but for me, it worked, because it works when I just put it. I have like a little office area in my bedroom. I have my bed, and in front of it is a desk. I plug it there, because once I'm in bed, I don't want to get back up and get my phone, even if it rings. The only time I will get up and get my phone is when my alarm rings or when I get a call. That's the only time I get up. So that's a good strategy if the problem of your sleep is your phone. If you can't, in terms of other stuff, I'm planning to do a lot of research about it and cover in other podcasts about sleep. So there's a lot of strategies, but mostly the sleep killer is the phone. So put the phone down, put the phone somewhere else, like like I said, in another room or far from your bed. If once you get in bed, if you're like me and that once you get in bed you don't want to get back up, then put it far away in the same room, but far away, out of reach for you not to take it. So, and I'm gonna have to restart doing that because, and once you get used to going to bed not touching your phone at all, you will be capable of having it right beside you while you're sleeping and be disciplined enough to not touch it at all. And disciplined enough when your alarm sounds, you get up. When you have that as a routine / lifestyle of not touching your phone before bed, when your alarm rings, you wake up, you can have it beside you. Now, I always have it beside me, and lately it's starting to be a problem. I'm always on it before going to bed, before sleeping. So I'm going to have to restart of, setting it up on the desk in front of my bed to make sure that I don't use it before going to bed, because I'm restarting to have that kind of problem. So, and that is not something I did some research on. I did it myself. I've experienced it, and it helps a lot. And in the past, while I was using my phone before going to bed, I started using melatonin as well. Don't mix the two, because it just, you're kind of wasting melatonin if you go on your phone immediately after. So melatonin is kind of like a last resort. If I put my phone away, I don't use it. I have it out of reach, and I can't sleep. It's like I went to bed at like 9 and it's 11. Now I'm gonna take some melatonin, but not a big dose. And for me, it worked for me, but probably not for a lot of people. But I stopped using the melatonin like one shot, and it was fine for me. At the same time of putting my phone away, one shot. I did it one shot. It was fine. But for most people, if you were at example 10 or 15 milligrams, you need probably to do it gradually. So that you need to watch out for that. So just go down gradually until you don't need it anymore, and use it as your last resort. Especially if you have some spare, use it as your last resort. You can't sleep at all because of, I don't know, it's windy or whatever, and the noise annoys you. Just take one, and at least 5 milligrams. Don't example, don't take, if it's a bottle of 5 milligrams, don't take 3 of the 5 milligrams to fall asleep quicker. It will do practically the same job, just it's gonna save you probably 2 or 3 minutes. It doesn't save you a lot of time in terms of that. So, or if your body doesn't respond or whatever, it's the 5 milligrams doesn't work, okay, fine. But if your body reacts to the 5 milligrams, it's going to do the same job than if you take a 10 milligrams, So just watch out for that in terms of that, in terms of melatonin and all that. So, and, one thing, for me, it works. I either put music. So one I was going to say playlist, but it's an album. One or two albums I use is Final Cut by Pink Floyd or The Wall by Pink Floyd. Final Cut, just a disclaimer, because the first time I used it, I was not, aware that there was kind of an explosion in the soundtrack. So that kind of startled me. So if you use Final Cut, there's an explosion somewhere in the song, in one of the songs in the album. So it could wake you up like what it did to me. The Wall is absolutely good. So by Pink Floyd. So I use these two songs, and sometimes I don't use my phone to put like a soundtrack or whatever to help me sleep. If, example, there's rain outside, it's windy, I use that sound, because for me, I need to have at least some sort of noise for me to fall asleep properly. And especially, but the thing I need to adapt is when I go example to a hotel with example my parents or my friends. I can't just decide, yeah, I need to sleep with noise, so I'm gonna put some noise. No, maybe the other people in the room doesn't like sleeping with noise, so you need to find that, that balance. It all goes with the balance as well, and all that, and you need to be disciplined enough to, just put your phone away. If you're not disciplined, you're just like, oh, I can manage with having it beside me, and it just doesn't work. You didn't have enough discipline on yourself to do it. So you need to be disciplined, and you need to find the balance in everything. So yeah, so just put your phone away. That's the number one sleep killer. Put the phone away. You know, my mom does that as well. She goes in her room. Her phone is in the living room. It's plugged in the living room. She doesn't have it there, and her phone rings a lot because I sometimes go to bed after my parents. Her phone rings a lot when she's in bed. She never goes up to go see her messages. So even if you hear your phone from the other room and it's plugged, don't get up. Don't get up. Unless if it repeatedly is example for me, I know what message I get due to either the sound or the vibration of my phone. Because when I receive a Snapchat, it vibrates 2 times, short vibration 2 times. When it's a text message from Instagram, my or other things, it's a long vibration, just brrr. So I know how the the difference between the two. Same thing for my ringtone. For when I receive hockey notifications for my schedules and all that, it's a different sound than my other notifications. That is my main, which is a slap shot that hits the crossbar and out. So that's my ringtone. So I know, I received either a message on my phone number, I received a message on Instagram or whatnot. A Snapchat is the normal Snapchat ringtone that I get. So there's a lot of differences in the vibrations that I have, and when it's a messenger, I receive the messenger sound, or just one little vibration, just doom, when it's a messenger. So I can know which is which of my notifications. So you know when it could be important or not. So if it is important as well, if it's just a text and it is important and you're not sure, the person, if you don't reply, will most likely call you if it's really important. If it's not really important, and if it could wait to the morning, the person won't call you. So there's also that. If you get a call after having a message, it means it's important. If not, then it could wait. So don't be on a rush when you hear your phone ringing. Whenever you put it far away from you. So that's one thing. So, but it's one of the most things that gives problems when we sleep. It's our phone, because it's just it's kind of like not an addiction, but it's especially for younger people and all that. It starts for us to be an addiction because we always want to be on our phones. We're always on our phones. So that's one of the things that I try to avoid. And right now for recording, I'm on a computer, and even computers can start a kind of an addiction. I'm not always on my computer. I'm on my computers for school, obviously. So I love to do some graphic designing. It's not in that I'm going to study though, but I love to do it just for fun. So I go on my computer for that. Sometimes I play video games, but it's really rare, as I said in the previous podcast. And and I do some research about hockey, especially lately, because I'm going to kind of be a little bit of a goalie coach. So now I'm searching a lot of drills for when I'm going to coach. That it's starting next week. So after school. So, I and it doesn't really mess with my schedule for work or hockey at all. You just need to control what you do before going to bed. If you want to play video games before bed, you need to stop playing video games at least 30 minutes to an hour before going to bed. Because the blue screens from the electronics, that's what, even though you're on your screen and you're just like, oh, I'm starting to be tired, I'm going to bed. You're going to bed and example, you played a video games, an FPS game, so a gun game. You're going to go to bed and you're going to have the adrenaline of the gun game you played, because your brain is still in the game. Even if when you were playing, your brain was kind of feeling tired, but when you go to bed, you're no longer tired because your brain is still in the game. It's still kind of playing. It needs to have at least a 30-minute or 1 hour, depending on the person, of just either relaxing. So that's why I say stretches, meditation, yoga can really work and boost that for your brain to focus on something else, so it doesn't think that it's still in the game. So that's one of the things with video games. Same thing with scrolling. It's because of the kind of blue light we call it. It just, when you scroll, your brain is just on scroll. So it doesn't want to sleep because it wants to scroll, because it got used to scrolling, for example, 30 minutes to an hour. So you just need to before going to bed, don't touch your electronics for at least an hour, unless if you decide to do something that can, boost it. So you don't use your electronics 5 to 10 minutes before going to bed, because you just put something, some calm sounds, and you're doing meditation at the same time to clear your mind, so your brain has cleared kind of the scrolling, the gaming, and all that. So you need to find some way to avoid that. And with that said, it's kind of not simple. You just need to do the first step for that to improve your sleep. So as I said in the first podcast, it all involves with balance in the first step. So if you don't do the first step of the discipline of putting your phone away, doing meditation, stretches, whatever, to clear your mind, stop using electronics 30 minutes to an hour before going to bed. If you don't do that first step, you won't start to do some progress. You'll just continue to go downhill. Even if you start doing some progress and you see, oh, I'm doing good, and you restart doing what you did to make it bad, it won't do that still. It will go back down to square one. So once you start, you don't stop. You never stop once you start. If you're going really up and you're just like, I can have my phone beside me, but I know I won't use it, fine. But when you see you'll start using it and all that, put it back away. You need to be disciplined with yourself. The only person who can control your decisions is you. So your parents won't help you with that, especially if, example, you're in your 20s, whatever. It's you. Even for me, they tried and I arranged myself when I had the time, because they're not you. So they can try to discipline you and all that, but they are not you. So what you need to do is you have full control of your body. You have full control of you. So be disciplined with yourself, and your life will change tremendously. So just you need to have some discipline to yourself. So it involves with discipline. So which I will cover in the next podcast of having a good discipline with yourself. So it's discipline, balance, first step. That's the three most important things to having good sleep. You need to have balance. The balance is, at the same time having the discipline. Discipline is kind of with balance. And like I said in the previous podcast, they kind of help each other for the balance, first step and all that. So your balance, you need to stop playing video games if you want a good sleep. So you need to find a balance between video games, sleep, example. So you need to find the balance. You need to do the first step to start doing it, and you need to have the discipline to continue, not stop. And you need the discipline to say, guys, I want to go. I don't want to have problems sleeping. I'm gonna hop off of the game. And even if they start complaining or whatever, and whatever to make you stay, say, I prioritize my sleep before video games. I prioritize my body before anything else. So because it's good for your health, it's good for your body if you have at least 8 hours of sleep. If you don't have enough sleep, how can your body function properly? You know, I had 2 days in a row where I had like not even 6 hours of sleep. I was not functioning properly at school at all. Today I had 8 hours. I'm completely fine. I wanted to do the podcast yesterday, but I was too tired to do so. So you can't function properly. You can't even, for me, when I'm tired, I can't even talk properly. So that's one of the reasons why I said I can't do the podcast today, because I'm too tired. Now I went to bed early. I slept good. I had at least 8 hours. Now I'm completely fine to do the podcast, and here I am today. So it all, you need to be disciplined with yourself. You need to do the first step and having balance. And the first step and balance, I will cover each of them separately in another podcast, but the next podcast will be about discipline. So with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this shorter podcast than the other one, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.